Anyway, tell me why you think it's over for Hollywood. Because they look great. Hollywood look fantastic. Hollywood look amazing from this view.
I think that I think Hollywood's in trouble because there's been a lot of smoke and mirrors in regards to streaming services. I think that the reason a lot of these streaming services, don't. Well, first of all, let's take a step back. When it comes to the actors and the writers, they want a piece of the residuals when it comes to streaming, right?
But there are none.
There are none because, number one, there's only like 2 streaming services that are actually in the black, and that's Hulu and Netflix. But also...
I don't even think Netflix is making money.
No, Netflix is. It is. Netflix is in the black. Netflix is in the black. Netflix and Hulu. Everybody else isn't. But
someone looked that up. I don't think Netflix is making money.
They're like the only 2. I just read about this. But and it's not like they're making profit over profit. They're just in the black. But the reason that I feel that's never going to happen as far as them getting a piece of the residuals of the streams is because if these streaming services ever really opened up the books and were really transparent, Wall Street will be like, what the fuck is going on here?
Mm-hmm. Now explain...
Because it's not real profit being made. Like we know a lot of these networks, they get more subscribers, which causes the stock shares to go up.
Right.
But that don't mean it's actual money.
And when you say Wall Street, you mean investors.
Yeah.
So like the average investor, if they found out that every streaming service is losing money, I don't think Netflix is making money. I think Disney makes money.
No, they're not. Yo, Disney spends so... You know how much Secret Invasion costs?
Not Disney Plus. Disney, the brand.
Oh, yeah, I'm just talking about the streaming.
Yeah, but the streaming, Disney Plus isn't its own stock. Disney Plus is part of the Disney stock.
Yes.
So if you're investing in Disney and it's still profitable, you'll be good. Whereas Netflix is its own stock.
Yes.
Hulu is part of the Disney stock.
Thing, yeah,
so
absolutely.
Netflix is by itself, and if Netflix is itself is not what is called in the black means a profitable business, right? If Netflix is losing money in the hopes to continue to eat up market share, which is what Uber does, which is what so many of these tech platforms do. They just go, we're going to keep spending money and burning money in hopes that we'll eat up enough market share that then we'll be bought out or we'll be profitable online. For example, Amazon, I don't think even is profitable. I think they take all their profits and reinvest
Amazon might not even be in the streaming business this time next year.
Amazon.
They don't have. Why do they have to continue to do original programming when it comes to TV and films? That's not even their primary source of income.
Well, I think that's what allows them.
Fucking
toilet paper. I think that's what allows them to be doing this, right? They can compete so well because they don't have to make money on their streaming platform.
I can't waste money either. I can't keep dumping money into the streaming platform, doing all this original programming and not getting no ROI.
They waste money. What the ROI is culture.
I think Amazon and Apple will be out of the streaming business soon.
I think before Apple gets out, it would buy Netflix. That's the other thing.
Or Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Paramount Plus is the easier property.
Apple is the most successful company in the history of the world.
Maybe Disney.
Maybe Disney buys what?
Maybe Apple buys Disney Plus.
No, because I think
that's been one of the rumors.
I don't think that Disney. I think Apple could potentially buy Netflix, but I don't know if Netflix has enough intellectual property that's valuable in order for it to happen.
They got all the intellectual property. Yeah. Netflix is the only people that's still cooking right now. Netflix is over in Korea shooting movies right now. They're doing TV shows and shit right now. The strike is happening. It's affecting here in America.
No, but I'm talking
Netflix still cooking overseas.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about intellectual property, meaning so what Amazon have is I'm pretty sure Amazon bought MGM, so they have their whole back catalog for movies. Mm-hmm. So they have the ability to remake any of those old movies, right? Which is a very popular thing that's happening. Yeah. So they have so much IP. Not only do they have the old IP in terms of the movies, every time those movies get licensed abroad, every time those movies get licensed by a Netflix goes, I want to re-up on Backdraft or whatever the fuck thing is. And they go, okay, you got to pay us a fee, and this happens globally all around the world.
Netflix got that too, though, because Netflix got a lot of old IP. Like, you never stop watching shows on Netflix. You're just always finding new shit.
True, but they had to license all those old shows. Like they had to license Friends, they had to license Seinfeld, and now what's
But they
happening?
got their own shit though, like Orange is the New Black, House of Cards. Like Netflix got a lot of Squid Game.
Yeah, but I know you can't really compare those to like Friends or like Seinfeld or like
Not now.
other
Just
legacy
'cause of
shows.
time.
Their goal is to be able to build that up, but it takes years.
Yeah.
And they've had a few incredibly huge successes. They have had the Stranger Things, etc. So hopefully they eventually continue to build those things up. But they don't yet have a show that you just turn on and it's in the background and it's just making syndication rights like a Seinfeld or a Friends did. They have some great reality shit that's really successful, like Selling Sunset. You just throw that on the background.
The difference with Netflix though is Netflix is literally worldwide, and Netflix isn't necessarily a streamer anymore. Like you can go be anywhere. Netflix is on remote controls.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
they did a
saying?
great-
Like Netflix is in hotel rooms.
They were first. They did a great job. There's no question.
And not only were they first, they fucked the game up. They fucked the game up so much that they made everybody run to say, we need to be in the streaming business.
Yes.
I don't think that was ever a sustainable model. I think there was supposed to be a Netflix, and then there was still supposed to be cable television. But I think cable TV jumped out the window and was like, you know what? We need to be in the streaming business too. I think the game was really only designed to have two streaming services, Netflix and Disney.
Everything gravitates towards convenience. And cable television just wasn't convenient enough anymore. So this is just with the internet, it's just with Uber, it's just with everything, right? It's just the more convenient version at the same price.
We say that until some dope shit come. What was your favorite show?
On what?
On HBO that you just loved?
It was convenient. I just watched it whenever I wanted. House of Dragons or what?
What was the one you used to like based off a video game or something?
Black Mirror. The zombie show, Last of Us.
Last of Us. And that's used to come on every Sunday?
Yeah, but I could watch it whenever I wanted.
You would watch it on demand?
Yeah, you stream it. You stream it whenever you want. That's the convenient thing. I do agree with you 100%. And this is what Apple's doing, which I think is brilliant. They're releasing shit weekly now. They're like, we're not gonna let you burn through this content in one fucking weekend and then the show's done and we gotta keep on making more shit to keep you happy.
I said that last year.
If your point with cable is stagger the shows out, you're 1,000% right.
And the subscribers.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like when people pay for cable television, like put it like this: cable television is a model that at least you know how much you pretty much know how much you're gonna make, right? The streaming business to me is kind of like a Ponzi scheme in a way.
Talk to me. What?
Because it's like, okay, I launch a streamer, the streamer comes out, and in my mind I'm like, well, how much could this necessarily make, right? But you don't necessarily know what those subscribers will equate to. You know how much you're gonna spend on content, right?
But you don't know how much they're gonna make.
You don't know how much you're gonna make.
Well, you know how much you're gonna make once they subscribe, but you don't know how many people are gonna subscribe.
Exactly.
But that's the hope with any business, right? You're just like, I gotta start the business. If I open a coffee shop, I hope that a lot of people come buy coffee.
You hope, but it's a lot of hope in streaming. That's all I'm saying.
It is a lot of hope, but I will say
cable was more of a tried and true model that they kind of blew up. Like, why did they? My point is, why did they blow it up? It was a tried and true model that showed it had worked for years.
Wasn't convenient enough and people stopped watching, and then they gravitated toward Netflix and YouTube, which were just more convenient. You could watch things at your time.
I'm with you, but I think they jumped too fast. I really do.
Why do you say this? Because
I think Netflix made them jump too fast. I think people saw what Netflix was doing and was like, we need to be doing what they're doing.
They wanted to hold on to cable for as long as they possibly could, and they had contracts in place to hold them there. The problem was nobody was watching the shows. Mm-hmm. The ratings in our lifetime, shows that would make 5 million, 10 million viewers drop to 1 million or less.
But just give it a minute. All I'm saying is if they would have just gave it a beat instead of everybody just running to start the streaming wars.
If you give it a beat, you let Netflix get even further ahead than it was already.
Listen, I'd rather lose market share to Netflix than everybody else now, because right now there's nobody winning except for Netflix. Even right now in 2023, none of the streaming services are in the black except for Netflix and Hulu. None of them.
Did we find out if Netflix
It is.
It's profitable.
It's profitable, but their overall profits, and I'm seeing different numbers, have declined since last year.
Yeah,
so that's why Wall Street's upset. They're still making billions. It's just moving in the wrong direction.
And they lost a bunch of subscribers last year. But I'm telling you, the only reason that is literally because I feel like everybody just jumped too fast trying to follow Netflix's model. If everybody would have just waited a beat, to your point, and the point I've been saying, HBO, every week you put out a dope-ass show like Euphoria. motherfuckers is tuning in. That shit you was
Okay.
just talking about that's based off the video game.
Last one,
Every
yeah.
week people are tuning in. I only got to do 3 or 4 of those a year.
So I
people
think-
like Netflix got to constantly put out product.
I think what you're trying to say is that it's not that we should have kept cable. You still want to be able to watch your
On
show
demand. I'm with
whenever
that.
on
Yeah,
demand.
yeah, I'm with that.
So in other words,
Oh, give me both.
so yeah, what I would say is have a streamer, just have shows come out 10 o'clock on Sunday, which is what cable did. There's no advantage to just cable. There's no advantage to just running television all the time that nobody's watching and then having your advertisers bail and then having no ads up and then not knowing what to do. Like
Well, they don't have ads on cable, on HBO.
on cable they do.
On cable television?
What's going on right now?
No, he's talking about HBO, like
they have ads
a
on
premium
HBO.
channel. Premium
Oh
channels don't
yeah,
have
the
it.
premium channels you might as well have it streaming because
It's the same model.
I've never seen commercials like my whole life. I've never seen commercials.
But a premium channel like HBO, Showtime, Cinemax
Oh, yeah, that's
is
what I'm talking
like
about.
a
Yeah,
streaming
yeah,
service already.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about those networks. I'm not talking about like fucking regular cable television. I'm talking about like the premium
Yeah, like
guys.
I think the premium guys going to streaming just made their content more convenient.
Mm-hmm.
So like if HBO, do I want to watch what HBO tells me to watch on a Saturday night if I'm just home for a movie? Or do I want to look through their entire catalog and then pick the movie or TV show I want to watch? That's more
But-
convenient to
but
me.
give me
That's
both.
always going to win.
Give me both.
Yeah, but
Give
Charlotte,
me both.
if there's no
I mean,
streaming,
they're doing that now, really.
but like say if HBO didn't have a streaming service, half the people wouldn't watch Game of Thrones. Nobody's getting a cable channel, a cable package just to be able to watch HBO.
That's not. I don't know if that's true.
Bro,
we always used to.
our generation does not have
We
cable.
always
no
used to
more.
get cable packages.
Yeah,
It
but
wasn't-
this-
but I'm
and
telling
also to your point, it's still something about appointment TV. Now, don't get me wrong. You're going to go back and watch it on streaming services, but when everybody's on a Sunday
Yeah.
at 10 o'clock tweeting at the same time, there's no experience like that.
There's
I just think you should have both. Is what I'm simply saying.
and I'm letting you know, there's no show that's that good that people are
I
going
disagree with
to
that.
buy a cable service, subscription service, like cable, get a box in their television.
I disagree with that because you can even see it when and you can see it when
I think-
you can see it with Stars.
I think
Stars
what,
does it with Power.
No, but
They're just, you can look it up. It shows when Power is not in season. 50 Cent talks shit about this all the time. When Power is not in season, Stars loses subscribers.
But they're also digital subscribers.
Yeah.
You could do the app. There's just a miscommunication here. What you're saying is you believe in the streaming model.
Yes.
You just think that shows should be released weekly because it's a better for the network side. It's a better return on investment.
Yes.
Your show lasts for 8 weeks or 12 weeks. One show that you pay for lasts for 12 weeks instead of lasting for one weekend. And then you
Yes.
need to get them new content
Oh,
later.
okay. That's what you're saying.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
we're on the same page.
Yeah.
And I'm also saying I feel like everybody jumped out the window too fast trying to chase Netflix, and everybody sometimes you got to let the person go over the hill first.
Well, so-
and let them take the bullets and the arrows, then figure out how to come over the hill
100%.
without taking so many bullets, so many arrows.
So okay, now we're on the same page. I think you saying like we should go back to cable threw everybody off. I think what you're saying is going binge culture is jumping. Yes, binge culture. And listen, Netflix was smart, right? You in order to catch fish, you need to stir up waters. What is
Stir
the
up water to catch fish.
Okay, how do you stir up waters? How do you create chaos in an industry that's already established? You give people the whole season right away. Holy shit. Now, what are the advantages of that? If the show is not as good, I will stick around to watch it because I have the next episode ready to go.
Yeah.
If the show is not as good in the traditional weekly model, and at episode 3, it's kind of I'm not coming back Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm not building my whole Sunday around this fucking show schedule. If it's binge worthy, and what I've always said about a lot of the Netflix shows, they're not as good because they don't need to be, because all you need to do is leave me on a cliffhanger. I'm tuning in to that next episode that's gonna come right up. So they stirred up the water to catch fish. All the other networks came in and tried to compete, and now they're realizing, the smart ones like HBO, smart ones like Apple are realizing, oh shit, we don't need to give these motherfuckers a new show the whole season immediately.
No.
We could give them a new show every week as long as that show's fire.
And because you produce less content.
And low key, if I'm them, I would assess the show and I'd go, oof, this show's not that good. Let them binge it.
Yeah.
And if the show is fire, you go, stretch it out week by week.
Listen, if I only got to do 3 to 4 shows a week and you got to do 27, 28 a year, You know what I mean? And I think we all forget where everybody was at before they had their own streaming platforms. They were on Netflix. They had their content on Netflix. They were doing licensing deals. So think about this. Companies like Disney were getting paid from Netflix because Netflix was doing licensing deals with these companies. They all said, nah, fuck that. Let's take our content off, start our own platforms. Worked for some, didn't work for a lot. Out of all of these streaming networks, you mean telling me only 2 of them are making a profit?
But I will say this.
And Hulu got the best model because Hulu got like 4 or 5 different channels.
But no
on
one
that
knows
shit.
what Hulu is. The problem with Hulu is nobody knows what the fuck it is.
We saying that, but they in the black.
I don't know why.
Well, they run ads.
Yeah, they run ads. I just
They run
don't know
ads.
what they are. Like
They got ABC on Hulu, FX is on Hulu.
It's like cable,
ESPN
but
is on
also
Hulu.
streaming, but also got their own things. Like I was in a movie on Hulu, so it's like they also got movies. Like Hulu
movie
is
was you
so.
on Hulu?
The White Man Can't Jump.
Oh, yeah,
too.
yeah, I watched it. I
So,
watched it on Hulu.
So
Yeah,
it's like
yeah, yeah.
there's so many different things that are happening on Hulu that it's just confusing, and I think they have a
Shit
brand
works.
issue. If it works, it works. I can't criticize if they're doing well. I just think that people don't really know what Hulu is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, do I watch
yeah.
cable on Hulu?
Yeah, I
do
don't
I
know,
watch
I
its
don't
own
know.
show? Like, what is
I
it?
watch it all. I do. I watch it all. I just think Hollywood's in real trouble this time because I don't see how the writers and actors win this one because I don't see how it behooves the Hollywood studios to meet any of their demands. Because I think when it comes to the writers, you're going to have a couple people who cross the picket line. And like I said last week, or whatever week I said, it's going to be like a showrunner, a head writer, and then AI, at least for a while. Not saying that's going to be the end-all, be-all, but at least for a couple of years, they're going to at least try that shit. And when it comes to the actors, I just don't see them ever being transparent with the actors as far as how much these shows are really screaming, because to be transparent with the actors, you got to be transparent with Wall Street,
So
and
exactly.
they don't want to be transparent with Wall Street.
So in order for the actors and the writers to calculate a comparable syndication value, right? It used to be there'd be a show that's really popular, like a Seinfeld or a Ray Romano show, right? And then they would sell that show in syndication once it made 110 episodes. That means you could sell it around the world. You would see it coming on 5 days a week on like Channel 11 or wherever the fuck channel it is where you grew up. I think where we grew up, there'd be like Channel 11, right? And they would just play the reruns of
All the network channels.
all the
have
network
it.
channels. They'd have
5, 7,
Beverly Hills
9/11.
90210, and they just play them all day. And you make so much money on that syndication rights. Now with streaming, the streaming network owns it in perpetuity. So what they've been doing is paying upfront syndication fee. So they go, yo, Will Smith, we want your movie. Here's $20 million. That includes your syndication fee. So I think the writers and the actors are trying to go, let's find a realistic syndication fee and let's find a realistic version of how much this show is worth based on how many people stream it. Music did it with streaming. They have a per stream fee that the artist gets.
One difference with that.
Well, real quick, just to finish
Okay.
out the point. So with syndication, like to what you were saying, the streaming platforms haven't been forthright about how many streams these shows are actually getting.
Yeah.
They say #1 most streamed show on Netflix or #1 most streamed
But
show
not
on
giving
Apple.
up them exact numbers.
But they're not giving the numbers. So without the numbers, you can't calculate the value of the show.
That's right.
Especially the value of the show to the network. And without the value of the show to the network, you can't calculate what you're worth as a writer or what you're worth as an actor.
That's right.
And to what you were saying, since so many of these networks are dependent on the stock valuation
That's right, and not actual profit.
and not
You're
the
right.
actual profit, they don't want to say how few people are actually watching the show or how many people.
Because Wall Street will...
Wall Street, it will go either tank or they'll find out that the entire network is only watching one show, i.e. Stranger Things, and then every actor on Stranger Things is going, back up the truck, motherfucker.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
nobody
yeah,
watching
yeah.
nothing but Stranger Things, we're keeping your fucking streaming service alive. We need the bread.
Yeah, everybody keeps trying to talk about the music industry and the TV, film industry.
Yeah,
and
what
streamers.
do you see as the difference?
Totally different because Tidal, Apple, Spotify, they're not paying to make the albums.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like the Netflixes and the Disneys and all that, they're
That's
paying
a
to make
great
these
point.
fucking products. Like they did. It's totally different. Like Netflix, Tidal, and Apple is damn near all profit. Like all they gotta do is make a proper split with the labels, not even the artists, just the labels, and poof, keep it moving.
So it's almost like, yo, actors, writers, make your own shit. Make your own shit. We'll
Boom.
buy it from you. and
That's the
then
play.
you will accept. And you know what?
Yes.
That does happen. And you know what? Those people
That's
who
the play.
But those people who do sell accept the fee, and they're good with it.
Yeah.
That's the play. If
Yep.
and you can do it two ways, right? You might shoot some shit for $3-4 million, sell it to Netflix or Disney for 25 million.
There you go.
Or you might say, I'm gonna sell it. But I want to get this percentage of it. You know what I mean?
Well, what
But you
percentage?
can't.
Because
let me get my production money back.
But
right?
what percentage? Because you're not making any. There's
Yeah.
no money to be made. You're servicing the streamer. The streamer gets their monthly revenue.
You might have to sign an NDA. You might have to sign an NDA and be like, look, all right, we do a deal. You shot this for how much? 5-10 million. Okay, you'll get
tell me how
your
many
production
people
money
viewed it?
back. Yeah, that's right. But you got to sign an NDA. We'll let you. We'll be honest with you about what the numbers
They
are.
never gonna be.
They'll
They
never. do
That's
it.
too risky.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think Hollywood might be kind of fucked in a lot of ways. I saw the dude that plays Incredible Hulk, Mark Ruffalo. He said this yesterday. He was like, he started encouraging people to go do independent films. I think that might be the wave.
Well,
I
Look
thought
out
that-
for Tubi.
Let's go.
Y'all been laughing
Let's
at Tubi.
go.
Look out for Tubi.
Let's go.
Tubi might be the guy or the girl, whatever the fuck.
My only thing, my understanding is they can't work on independent projects. Like they can't work on a project that
If you're
if they're going to sell it.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can they do that?
Bro, I don't know,
Here's
bro.
the thing. Here's the thing.
And I'm SAG and WGA, and I'm just simply saying, I don't know. I don't know where this ends, bro.
I saw in Variety, they're like, anybody who SAG at WGA, the things that you have to boycott are live appearances. And I said, I'm crossing the picket line.
Yo, Schultz, that makes no sense. By the way, pull that up, Alex.
I'm going on stage, motherfuckers.
Pull that up, because nothing on that list makes sense to me.
Y'all don't make my living.
I think I got that right here. That makes no. Why wouldn't you want the actors to make money while the strike is going on? Like that makes zero sense to me. Hold on, I got
They
that
just
shit
no.
right
They
here.
don't want the films to make money.
But I'm not promoting the films when I'm doing
They
appearances.
assume that you are doing live
Look at this
appearances
shit.
to promote the film.
Tours, personal appearances, interviews, conventions, fan expos, festivals, for your consideration events, panels, premiere screenings, award shows, understand that, junkets, podcast appearances, social media, studio showcases. How am I supposed to make any extra income? Like, what if I'm an actor who hosts a podcast about food? I can't do my fucking podcast about food? What if I'm just getting paid because I'm me? Forget the show I'm doing and the character I'm playing. I'm getting paid because I'm whoever. I can't go make my money? Like, you really think people want to see Rue or Zendaya?
Yeah, this should be.
Charlamagne.
I don't know, man.
No. I think that one, Variety's wrong. I heard a bunch of people respond to that, and they're like, Variety continues to not know what the fuck they're talking
Oh, so
about.
none of that's true?
I think it's like somewhat true, somewhat not true. There's nothing wrong with us podcasting. There's nothing wrong with me going on tour. I think some of that has to do with promoting current projects or past projects.
We've had a lot of actors and actresses that was on Breakfast Club, that was scheduled to be on Breakfast Club the next 2 weeks. All of them had to cancel.
because they can't promote their films.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
But we have a podcast that is not based on SAG-AFTRA.
It's
There's
about
yeah.
nothing.
It's just if you're working on a project that's a SAG.
That's a SAG project. You can't do
Yeah.
it. Exactly.
I don't know how this ends, man. I don't like it. I think
Well, I think what's really interesting is I think that the film industry and the TV industry, much like the stand-up comedy industry. How do I say this? For years, doing stand-up specials and like filming these like grandiose things, right? Like, and don't get me wrong, there are certain people where they should be that big. Like a fucking Kevin Hart should have that kind of spectacle.
Absolutely.
But for newer comics, they were spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to do these specials for comics that like people didn't even know who they were yet. And what we kind of figured out is we could film our own specials and get even more people to see it by placing it on YouTube, a place where people could see it. So we kind of caused this disruption in this, traditional industry by filming stand-up comedy specials for a fraction of the price and focusing really on what people wanted, which was great comedy, not this insane production value. And then when you do eventually get to the upper echelon of comedy, yeah, you should go do that. But we disrupted the industry in that way. I think, and I've been trying to figure out as I've been doing these films, what the next level of disruption for the film industry is. The film industry is, don't get me wrong, for Mission Impossible, for Avatar, for all these big fucking films, you need these huge scale budgets, et cetera.
And Mission Impossible didn't even do well.
But regardless,
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying is you need them for an indie film. I think there's a version of making, people are saying, yeah, an indie film is for $5 million. I'm like, there is a version of a film that is far cheaper, and we can find a way to do it for far cheaper. And then when you do a film for way cheaper, you can put it in a place where more people will see it, right? And then when more people see it, you can find out ways to monetize it in the same way that we did, with stand-up.
I think direct-to-consumer is always going to be a great model if the consumer gives a fuck about you to want to direct with you. Y'all know what the fuck I just meant.
Yep,
We got it.
I agree, and I think that storytelling is going to be at a premium. I think if you have a great story, you can shoot it for much cheaper, and you can make that film for a fraction of the cost, and then put it in a place where people can consume it, and then have way more success. And I think that restructures the film industry. We just haven't seen people do that yet.
Yeah,
That's a little bit harder to do, only because a film does take a lot more hands to make, and to be able to compensate people in a way that they can have a yearly salary they can sustain themselves on, working project by project, is just harder. That's why
Also,
you need the...
Two things. I can put out my comedy for free and then monetize the road. Actors don't have that.
Yeah.
They have to make their money off of films.
Yeah.
So you do have to generate wealth. But if you can, one, condense shooting schedules so that actors can do potentially more projects. Like you can film, right now it took 2 months to film Oppenheimer. That's Oppenheimer. You're telling me you can't film a indie, low budget, really creatively put together project with great storytelling and an amazing story? You can't do that in half the time as Oppenheimer?
You know what you're going to need for that? You're going to need the people behind the scenes to have the same enthusiasm as the people in front of the camera, because they're going to be having to take some losses, right? And you may not want to when you're behind the camera, because that work is way more intensive, right? And what benefit is it for them? Because if I was,
there's none.
These people that are on that are striking right now, because the people behind the scenes, I'd be sitting around calling my folks like, yo, we should be putting together production crews.
That's illegal.
Because we feel, really?
Right now you can't do anything. Can't write.
Shit.
You can't write. Writers can't even write in their free time.
So even if you do like some, you form your own production crew, you can't even go shoot some shit?
Nope.
Damn.
They can't.
If they're under the union, you can't do it.
Fuck, why you telling me that?
They can't.
I wanted to act like I didn't know that.
They can't, my boy. They can't. You know what I mean?
The thing about, look, did you see the numbers for Secret Invasion?
What's Secret
I
Invasion?
didn't see them, but Secret Invasion is fucking phenomenal.
Great.
What is Secret Invasion?
But nobody's watching it.
On Marvel, it's based off of Samuel L. Jackson's character.
Nick Fury, but no, Alex, nobody's watching it.
I didn't even know it was out.
I watch that shit religiously.
6 episodes. How much you think 6 episodes of that shit cost?
I think it was like 500,000 or some shit like that.
500,000.
That's what I thought the budget was.
$277 million for 6
per
episodes.
episode, I think, was like 500,000.
No, 500 million.
Over budget. The final tally came in at 211.6 million.
Wow.
Guardians of the Galaxy, the movie, had a production budget of $250. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania had a budget of $200 million. This is a TV show with 6 episodes.
But keep in mind, 6 episodes. How long is each episode?
An hour. No, like 40 minutes. 40 minutes.
So we're talking about 6 episodes of TV. So that's between like 4 and 6 hours. So let's say it's about 5 hours.
2 movies.
So it's 2 movies. So they made 2 Marvel movies.
I'm with you, but it's still TV.
Oh,
doesn't
I
matter.
agree.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
bloated. But
They
that's
still
why
got to treat it like TV.
No,
Bob
they
Iger
can't.
came in and he's chopping everything. He got the Ginsu. He don't give a fuck.
He's fucking shit up right now.
But if they treat it like TV, the production value isn't going to be as good, and then we won't like it.
That's
I don't
why
think
it's
we
TV.
need production value as much as we need story.
With Marvel, with shit that is
Even with
CGI, you need good production value.
I'll be honest with you. I think it's story. And I think that one of the things that, to be honest, one of the things that Guardians of the Galaxy shows, like there are moments in Guardians of the Galaxy where you're like, this is silly and weird and that makes no sense. Like large swaths of the scenes, right? Mm-hmm. Not even it doesn't make any sense. You're like, did they put any money in this? But it doesn't matter because the story is so compelling that we're going to lock in and just believe this reality.
I agree, but you can't have a whole series just
Well,
with
Bob
a good
Iger
story.
said- Bob Iger
need,
I think that's what
in Marvel, you need some
Bob
shit
Iger said he
exploding.
feel like Disney TV has done too much. Or no, Kevin Feige said this. One of them said this. They feel like they've done too much with the TV stuff, and that's why everybody has fatigue across the board. Because Quantumania didn't even fucking
Yeah, I know.
do what it was supposed to do at the box office.
I don't even know what it is.
Ant-Man.
I think a lot of people after Endgame kind of checked out.
Can I be honest? Okay, here's the reality of the matter. Endgame finished it. Not
For the casuals.
No. Just take this in. Endgame was
Tough act
the
to follow.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was the World Series.
Yeah, man.
It was the NBA Finals.
Man. Tough act to follow, yo.
Summer League is what's going on right now in Marvel.
Yeah.
And the diehard fans of basketball are watching Summer League. They're seeing Wembanyama. They're seeing Scoop.
Yeah.
They're seeing all these guys. But the casuals could give a flying fuck what's happening in Summer League right now.
They're spending Super Bowl money in the Summer League.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We out here.
Listen. We do our best. We do our best. You know what I mean? We did our best. Listen. So they're doing Super Bowl money for Summer League, but if they adjust it to Summer League money, then they can be okay. Now, here's the problem they're going to have. They have to build up a new reason to create 15 years from now another version of Avengers Endgame.
Which they're currently doing.
But we dealt with 50 years or 70 years or whatever the fuck it was of comic books that built to Endgame. It wasn't a 15-year run. It was 70 years of X-Men. It was 70 years of Iron Man. It was 70 years. Like, we knew these characters as if they were like the Statue of Liberty. They were like bastions of American culture, and it built up to this final fucking moment. Endgame was a world war, literally.
Yeah, man.
And now we need a break. You can't have another war right after a world war. It's like, yo, we settled all that.
I don't think they should have did no Marvel TV shows. Alex.
They can't.
They can't take a break. They got to figure something out, and it might not be going back to Marvel.
Boom. I'm about to say. I don't think they should do. I don't think they should have did no Marvel TV shows. I think maybe this is the phase where Disney should have just invested in the Star Wars or something. Maybe I don't know.
They
maybe
did.
Go back to that.
They put all
shit.
that movie, the money in the Star Wars. No one watched it.
I don't think they should have did no Disney TV shows, and I think the next saga we should have saw from Marvel was the Mutant Saga. All in film. Now is the time to roll out the mutants and all that other shit.
I mean, that's because now that they have Sony. Well, now that they have
Fox, Sony.
X-Men.
Let me tell you something, Charlamagne. That was your fucking greatest idea. Mutants, you mean X-Men, right?
Yes.
Start from the jump.
Yes.
Yeah,
Start from the
Word
jump,
up.
and then take an off-brand mutant like Iron Man. Iron Man was not the number one.
No, not at all.
Take that off-brand version,
That's
whatever
right.
the fuck it is. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Beast. I don't care if it's whatever. You make that person the centerpiece of
That's right.
this new world. Hover all the characters and then build towards your fucking endgame.
That's right.
And take us on that dance for 10 fucking years.
I mean, they are doing that, but with both, with Marvel and with.
Focus on one.
Focus on one.
So,
I mean, the
as
only
a
way
person who loves that shit, I'm tuned in.
I love it. I'm just saying listen, as a fan, I love it.
Yeah.
But from a business perspective, this shit is a fucking clusterfuck.
Yeah.
But wait, are they starting with the mutants from
No, they just started. They started to get into
ground
mutants.
zero? What's ground zero?
Well,
But they can't because they were putting out X-Men movies. It's not like
we
X-Men movies
are
weren't
so
coming out.
fine with them putting out more. You know how many Superman they put out? You know how many Spider-Man they put out? Just restart it. How many times we've seen Uncle Ben die?
well, they got to blend the world. So they're
Yes.
doing it right now with the multiverse. You know what I'm saying? And they introduce Earth 818, and all the mutants are clearly on Earth 818. So eventually it's going to be an incursion where both worlds crash together.
Yeah.
Deadpool's going to bring a lot of that together from what I saw. That shit looks phenomenal, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Like, because see, Deadpool is the person that can break the fourth wall. Deadpool will probably end up saving Marvel because he can talk to the people. He can tell us everything that we already know is going on. Like, you see the fight scene with him and Hugh Jackman?
Yeah.
And the 20th Century Fox logo was behind him.
Yeah,
so
fine.
Deadpool's just gonna go back and kill all these motherfuckers, all those old ass whack characters.
Yeah.
This shit's gonna be, it's gonna be phenomenal. It's gonna be phenomenal.
Old ass whack characters.
Like
all the old X-Men
all the
movies
old
and all
shit.
that shit like that. Oh,
He's
my
gonna
God.
go back and kill him. So is there the reset that you're talking about? They're gonna actually show the reset via a movie,
Yeah.
which is smart.
All right.
I love it. But I do agree with you. Yes, it's not the smartest business model, but I think they're just looking long term. It's like
Also-
they're making a lot of money with amusement parks, figurines, all that type of shit.
Are they though?
Yeah, they do. Can I say one more thing?
Are they?
They make way more money.
Disney's still in the.
Disney had to cut like $5.5 billion. They fired mad employees from Disney parks. That's why
That's
all
everybody.
those cuts at ESPN was because of Disney. Like, they firing motherfuckers.
Yeah, but that's everybody. Every company had a bunch of layoffs.
I don't know, man. I think that was my other reason too. COVID fucked up a lot of shit. Like, Hollywood's still recovering from COVID. And now they just getting hit with this. This is just strike is another pandemic.
Also, there's another thing that's going on, which is like all the streamers were bloated during COVID because people they didn't have anything else to do, so they just watched shows.
Yeah.
So the stock price skyrocketed. It probably went up 30, 40, 50%, whatever it did. So it's really regressing to the mean. It's regressing like where it should be, but it looks as if these companies are all failing. So if Netflix drops 30%, it was 30% inflated.
Yeah.
It should come back to a normal version. But again, we look at stocks quarterly, so it's like, oh my God, this is a horrible quarter. What can we do?
Yeah.
You could never sustain that growth.
By the way, do we need all of these streaming services?
Dude, we need all the channels. Either. No.
No.
They'll consolidate. Eventually, it will just be one.
Have to be. It's going to have to. I think it's going to end up being two. I think when the smoke is clear, Netflix, Disney Plus.
Yeah, but you forget people have egos, and the leader of this streamer is like, nah, I'm in the game too. I'm gonna keep going.
I don't give a fuck how much ego you got.
I'm just
Eventually,
saying.
everybody got somebody to answer to. Everybody got a boss. I don't give who your CEO is. There's a board, and the board gonna be like, nah, motherfucker, we just lost $1 gazillion. Shut this shit the fuck down. Like, eventually, I don't give a fuck. You can have all the ego in the world. If that shit ain't making dollars, it don't make sense.
Yeah.
And right now, it ain't making no motherfucking dollars. What we got, man? What else we got?
Oh,
yo?
sorry, one more thing.
Uh-huh.
They need to stop with this multiverse shit. This shit sucks. It's too confusing. Let me just say it. Let me just say this. Let me just say this. Let me just say this. Let me get it out. Let me get it out.
It's the best.
For the people that are really in it, like you guys, it's really exciting. The casuals, it's linking too many things that they're unaware of. So it
with you. I can see that.
completely ostracizes the casual viewer who just wants to tap in and be like, I know about Spider-Man. Spider-Man Multiverse is a bad example. I'm talking about the traditional Spider-Man movies. It ostracizes the casual who's like, yeah, I grew up with Spider-Man. I know he got his aunt who's kind of whatever, and then they got Carnage or whatever.
Kind of what, fine?
Say what?
Kind of fine?
I'm kind of fine. The
Yeah,
new
yeah,
one.
the new
hell
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, new one.
shit. I'm shooting webs. listen. So it just completely ostracizes and just confuses them. And there's an education process every time. You're like, what do you mean the multiverse? Da, 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 and then you just check out. The super fans like you, it satisfies every inch of your craving. But keep in mind, when you're creating movies for the masses,
You got to create it for the casuals.
You got to create it for the casuals.
Yeah, but then you run into the DC problem. DC problem where they were just telling the same story over and over
Well,
and
their
over with
stories are
different.
bad. That's the problem with DC. Isn't telling the
Simple and
same
plain,
story
Alex.
is fine to tell. They're just bad stories.
Simple and plain, DC sucks.
Yeah.
DC don't
films
really
suck.
They do.
DC stands for Dick and Cox because they suck.
Because they
That's
suck.
how bad the films are.
They have a worse batting average, but not all of them suck.
Garbage.
The Dark Knight movies were good.
That don't count. Those were classics. You
What
know
you
the Christopher
mean?
Nolan shit?
Yeah,
That
that
wasn't
counts.
part of the
DC, that's Christopher
that
Nolan.
wasn't
And
part
why
of
were
the
they?
DC
They were great
universe.
because of story.
But I mean, it's still good. It's still part
That
of the
wasn't
DC.
part. No, that wasn't part of the DC universe.
So does Batman. Batman's DC.
Yeah, but that's
Christopher
not part of the
Nolan.
DC universe, though.
What you
That's
mean?
the whole
Nolan.
shit they tried to do with Justice League. I'll never forgive them for introducing Justice League in a fucking email.
They rushed that. They rushed Justice League.
They got
They
introduced
fucked
in
up.
email attachments.
You were right. You exposed that to me. I didn't.
It's the stupidest
They
shit ever.
rushed Justice League way too fast.
Like email attachments.
Watch,
yo.
you gonna see this dude who's going over there to do it now. What's his name?
James Gunn.
James Gunn. He is nice with story.
I don't trust James Gunn no more. He lied to me about The Flash. They told me that The fucking Flash was the greatest superhero movie of all time.
Wait, he made the Flash?
No, he didn't
No, they
make
were
it.
trying to hype it up.
Yes.
So I think
Big flop, by the way.
My theory,
Big flop at the box office.
they were trying to hype it up because since he was coming to change the whole regime, he's like, hey, if this one does good, I can at least keep one old character from the old shit. So let's pump this up and convince people that this one's good. But now that this one flopped, they're gonna have to recast the Flash, and now he has to like try to build that whole storyline
Well, they
up
was gonna
again.
recast The Flash anyway because
No. They said if this one did good, they were gonna run it back. They were
Oh,
gonna
I believe that.
yeah.
And they protected Ezra Miller.
They
thinking
tried.
that was
They
good.
tried.
Listen, he can't say he didn't get a shot.
He did.
He got a shot. He got a shot, but